Hello, my name is Julius Afolabi, and today I want to share with us one of the ways in which I um, strategically blueprint my content and my message. And today I want to share with you what my worksheet normally is like, how I do some mind mapping before I begin to generate my content, or when I have a live audience, how I blueprint and I map out exactly what I want to communicate. I have it laid down as a graph, and then you do it. So it's important that we know how to do this so that we can sufficiently plan and maximize our time, our content, and ensure that it creates the kind of message that we want it to create. So what are we looking at? We're looking at three factors. Three factors that will make you sought after, a sought after person. I'll make you somebody to be sorted after. And what will these three factors be? What will these three factors be? These three factors are: number one is your nature. Have your culture, and then you have your nurture. Number one is what? Your nature, and then you have your nurture, and then you have your culture. Now somebody may be wondering, how do these things, how do they really go along? Now, as a person, this can be applied individually. As a person, can be applied individually. This model can be applied individually as a person, and it can be applied in leadership. It can be applied in relationship. It can be applied in the marketplace, right? So we can say it can be applied in life generally. So if you want to be a sought after person that has to generate a period that will be paid a premium, you have to understand your nature. You have to know what your nurture is, and you have to know what exactly is the culture that you must carry in order to be able to be perceived as one with authority that can be relied upon and that can produce the kind of result that people need. So when we talk about nature, I'm just talking about there is what you are naturally talented to do. Naturally talented to do. You are naturally talented to do. And there's what you can be trained to become. Trained to become, right? That is about nurturing. When we say nature, we are talking about your native intelligence. And when we say nurture, we are talking about trained intelligence. When we say nature, we are talking about native intelligence. When we are talking about this is native intelligence, right? And this is what? Trained intelligence, right? That's nurturing, how you are groomed. And then when we are talking about culture, we are talking about what? The new improved person. The new improved person that you have become by a combination. Now, by the time you have a combination of these three, what happens is that when you combine your nature, you have firmly understood what your nature is. You have decided to allow yourself to be nurtured, to be trained in a particular area. By nature, you know the particular aspect where your natural intelligence is resident, and then you get yourself trained along that dimension. Then you develop what is a culture. A culture. The culture is the transformation that has happened to your nature by virtue of your training that brings you to that point where you become perceived. Now, when we are talking about leadership, when we're looking at it from the aspect of leadership, let's look at it like that. When we say leadership, if a person must rule Nigeria now, you must know the nature of Nigerians. When we're talking about leadership now, you must know the nature of Nigerians. You must know what you need, the orientation, the reorientation you need to nurture Nigerians to carry. And then you come to what? A new culture that is going to move that particular country forward. These are personal questions that an intending leader must answer before thinking of coming on board to Nigeria. Now, when we are talking about relationship now, if you want to get the best out of your relationship now, you also need to think in these three dimensions. You need to know exactly the nature of your spouse. That means who the person of your spouse is. You must know yourself, know who you are, and know who your spouse is by virtue of asking questions and observation and raising inquiry. That's how you travel into their past to know. And then from there, you also need to know what? Who they are. And then you also have to know how they were raised. Right? When you know how they were raised or how they were groomed, it will also help you to know how to interact with them and how to deal with them. Then you also need to observe the character that they themselves have developed, their personal transformation, what they have become, the habits that they have generated by themselves. And then when you come to the marketplace now these three factors will still come into play. When you come into the marketplace, you need to know who your customer is. You must know your customer. You must know yourself, right? You must know your customer. You must know yourself. That is about what? Nature. And then when you also get into the marketplace, when we talk about nurturing, you must know what is it that you must groom. How do you develop a relationship? It's a function of what? The system. What process will you use to move their nature? You understand? You know what their doubts are. You know what their fears are. What process must you create? The process that will bring a new thinking about their nature, so that they can get out of their problem, they can exit their problems. You see it now? And then before you now begin, that comes by what? Your system. That comes by your solution, your system, your solution, and the relationship that you create. Right? Now, and the last one here would be the fact that what is the transformation that you create? That is, how do you move them? The culture will now become their new nature. That is the destination, the experience after their contact with you, because of what you know about them and because of the step-by-step process that you have created in order to move them out of where they used to be to where they intend to be. So, and then the last one is what? About life generally. About life generally, you need to know these three factors will also play out. You need to know what your assignment is. Then you need to know what your endowments are. And then you need to know how to deploy yourself. This is the only way in which you can maximize your life. So you can see that this model, this is the way in which I blueprint and map out content. This alone, looking at this alone, if it is drawn, it's enough for you to pass the message across to wherever it is that you want to move your message to. So 3 factors that will make you a sought after person includes your nature, your nurture, and your culture, right? And how do these 3 interwovenly will transmit or translate a person's present position into a new reality or bring him the kind of possibility that he wants. If you understand what your nature is and you are committed to nurturing in a way that will birth a new culture for your person, then you will become a brand new person getting new experience without recycling the frustrations of old. What have you learned from this work process that I've shared with you? Thank you, and God bless you. Make sure you let me know what your thoughts are in the comment box. And if you have any question, I'll be glad to answer you. Thank you.